All right, hello there, hello there. This is Dawn Reeby from Excellence in Analytics. I'm happy to be here with all of you today in our Tribe of Excellence Facebook community. So I know that some of you are popping on live right now. Let me know if you are here live in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you are here live or if you are listening to the replay. I'd love to hear from you. Say replay right in there, and I'd like to say hello to you. So here we are. It is, I was just trying to find the date. It is July 29th. Holy cow. It is the middle of summer, and hopefully you all are enjoying what the summer is bringing to you. Hey, Caroline. Oh, good. I'm so glad you're looking forward to this one. Steve is in the house. Hello, Steve. So good to see you here. Now, in the summer, it's a little challenging sometimes to really take care of ourselves, right? We're, trying to figure out what we should be doing, and we want to so much be putting our feet in the water and maybe in the sand if you're next to a beach. And so today we're going to have a little discussion on that because we want that to be happening a lot. And we also are going to talk about your contribution bucket. Hey, Joe. Hey, Caroline. Hey, Renee. Welcome. Glad that you are here, Jason. Glad you are here, Jason. Jason and I just wrapped up a podcast. For those of you who don't know Jason, he's a great leadership is the name of his podcast. He's a great podcaster. He's over in where I find him is right on my app on my phone. I just click on my podcast and I find him there, but he's pretty much everywhere. And so he talks everything leadership. So I was really thankful and excited to be in that leadership conversation with you, Jason. And we can't wait for that to come out in a week or so. We'll make sure you all get your hands on it. So fantastic. So today, it's a little hot in my house right now. It's a little toasty. Christiane is here. Oh my goodness, I want to congratulate Christiane. She's one of our Rising Genius members, and she just achieved a huge milestone, and I'm not sure how public it is, so she achieved a huge milestone in her life, so I want to give her a huge congratulations on that too. We did our automation series. For those of you who are in law enforcement analytics, we did our very first automation series using the very first analyst library, filled with tons of free tools, free technologies, free everything that you can just sharpen your saw, because we're here to really contribute. And that's what today's conversation is about. Really what it means to fill our contribution bucket. So for those of you who are like, what is this all about? I've never been here in this Tribe of Excellence Facebook community. Who the heck are you? And who's this lady talking? Okay. So we'll back up. I'm Dawn Reeby, and I've been in the law enforcement community for over 22 years as a civilian, supporting the analytical functions of police agencies around the world, right? And so I fly all over the country to deliver one-on-one, group training, whatever it might be, to support analytical growth at agencies. And what we found in EMS, fire, and in law enforcement is that so many folks who are, in that industry are often really pushing very, very hard and not quite finding the wellness until it gets to the other end of the spectrum, right, where they need crisis intervention. So what we do here in our Tribe of Excellence Facebook community is we try to really support all of the folks who are in fire, police, EMS, and similar industries to help them take a breath, to help them get, aligned a little bit with a life by design, to really show you step by step how you can create quality in your life and still provide amazing service in your field in your industry field. Okay, so you can be this excellent, amazing chief, this excellent, amazing lieutenant. You can be this excellent, amazing law enforcement analyst. Whatever it might be, whatever path you chose, you could be excellent in that career. And so we help you with some of those, hence all the free trainings and everything else that we talk about here. But we also want to ensure that you are amazingly happy in your home life too. Because particularly in the service-based industry, we often see, high divorce rates. We see high drugs and alcohol abuse rates. We see, folks retire and not know what the heck to do with their lives. They've always lived on these high adrenaline, high cortisol, jerking back and forth kind of lives. And so what we try to do here is really ensure that we are living well, that we are living happy, and that we are living excellent lives, both in career and in our home lives. So welcome, I'm glad that you are here. And if you all are up for that, if you all are saying to yourself, yes, finally I can live both happy at work and happy at home, then go ahead and show some love right now. Let me know that you are here with me on this hot, sunny day. It's hot for me. I know, I have a lot of clothes on today. Okay. So today, this whole summer, actually, we've been going through these 3 buckets, right? These 3 buckets: the vitality bucket, what brings life to you, right? The connection bucket, how to really connect with other people, and how key and important connection is in the service-based industry, right? And in your life. And then now we are working on this contribution bucket. And these are the 3 main buckets that we talk about in this book it's called How to Live a Good Life, right? And so, we talk about these 3 main buckets, that if we're constantly filling these buckets, then when life shakes a little bit, which it will, when life shakes a little bit, we don't have coffee spilling out. We don't have, mess spilling out and frustration and aggravation, right? Instead, we have joy, we have energy, we have support systems, we have all of these things lined up. So to really help us and support us as we navigate through this thing called life. So specifically for law enforcement, fire, and EMS folks, and other emergency response professionals. This is for civilians and for sworn, right? So if you're a civilian here, you have similar struggles that sworn have, right? They're a little bit different, right? But if you're a 911 dispatch operator and you're listening to people cuss you out all day, and you're trying to gain your composure while you're helping a mom help her baby not to choke and die, right? These are things that impact our lives, and you have your own stresses. And so, we're here really to support you in that growth, in filling your buckets. So today is all about the contribution bucket. So what is this contribution bucket? What is it all about? This is really about, this bucket is so key. Because what I find in law enforcement, in fire, and in EMS, what I find is you're all in, right? You're 100% corrections, you're 100% police officer, you're 100% analyst. Those are all your friends. Your whole family might be designed this way, and that's what you have, right? And what we encourage in this group is to find life outside of your career, right? To find energy, inspiration, joy outside of your career. And the connection bucket is really intended to help you with just that. This is talking about what talents and skills do you have to give to the world. So let's talk about that for a second. What talents and skills do you have? What do you do really, really well that has nothing to do with your career? That's what we're talking about here, is how you can contribute, right? When we, get this feeling of being fully expressed because we're doing something other than work. I remember a few years ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, a friend of mine was running a program for women empowerment, and she says, write down 10 things that you love to do. And I was like, girlfriend, I got kids, I'm a single mom, I'm going through a separation, I'm in court, and I work all day. There's nothing else, And she's like, Dawn, there is something else inside of you. You just have to bring it out. And so I really got upset with myself that I couldn't sit down and write 10 things that I really enjoyed outside of work. Now, I really enjoyed work. I really enjoyed solving cases. I really enjoyed teaching. I really enjoyed all of it. And I really enjoyed my family. I really enjoyed spending time with my kids and being around my family. But I didn't really have a me thing. I didn't really have something that I really love to do. And I started thinking about this piece. What were my skills and talents? What are those things that I'm meant to deliver to this world, right? And so I'm asking you to do the same thing. Now, some of you might be able to rattle off 50,000 things that you are great at. Maybe you are a professional kayaker, or maybe you are really good at baking, or maybe you are a yoga enthusiast, or maybe Krav Maga, or maybe there's something that you do that's exceptional. Maybe you're into carpentry. There's an outside of you. There's somebody outside of this person that is your law enforcement contribution. That's what we're looking for today. We're looking for the person outside of your service-based industry contribution, okay? It inspires our teams too to feel really connected to someone who isn't working all day, every day. Can I get an amen right now? Okay, so we are not intended to work every day, all night, everything. To be thinking all the time about work all the time. There are other parts of you, because when you retire, your world can be different, right? You're gonna be like, who am I? And I'm encouraging you, thank you. I'm encouraging you to find out who you are today. Don't wait until you retire. Don't wait until you get the job of your dreams. Don't wait until, you climb the professional ladder. Find out other things. Yes, Jason, find out other things about you that you enjoy today, because you are more than just your career. Right? We do a lot of work around building your career. We do a lot of work around building your professionalism and efficiencies, and we're going to do more of that in September. But for right now, yes, building recovery. I see Renee's in on it. Jason's in on it. Caroline says cooking. Yes, I love this. Steve, fantastic. Yes, amen, sister. I like it. And so, we think about delivering, what's the lifelong legacy that we want to deliver? What is the lifelong legacy do we want to deliver? When I go from this world, I don't want people to say only that Dawn was this hard worker. Well, good for Dawn. And I am a hard worker. I believe in working hard and doing the things that you love hard, right? But I don't want that to be the only thing that they say about me and my world. I want them to say other things that, maybe I'm a little fun. Maybe getting upside down on a paddleboard is a really inspiring thing for some people. Maybe I'm a good listener to them. I want to be something else other than just a hard worker. And you can be too, right? So if you're saying to yourself, I work all the time, that's what I'm known for, right? I encourage you to bend a little bit, to think a little bit differently right now. There's more to you than just work. Okay. All right. So, and we're really talking about, this contribution bucket. What is bigger than you? So go ahead in the chat right now and let me know, what is it that you like to do outside of work? Caroline says, cooking is one of my favorite things. Steve says, grilling is my triple C. I like it. Yeah, there's more. That's right, Caroline. There's more to you than just work. Now, you all know that I believe in being an excellent leader. I believe in being excellent in your career. So I think it's important, but there's more to you than just work. Oh, look at that. Jason likes to draw and make music. How creative, right? How creative. That's fantastic. What about the rest of you, right? And so I'm going to give you some prompts to help you to start to think about this, right? So in the book that I'm sharing with you, How to Live a Good Life, Jonathan Fields talks about these sparks and knowing your sparks. And he talks about this curiosity, right? Let's see. He talks about this curiosity spark. What provides you, are you the kind of person you need to solve a puzzle? I remember Chris Bruce, he would always have, who's one of the industry leaders in crime analysis, he would always have a puzzle, like a crossword puzzle that he was working on, right? Crossword puzzle, it was from the newspapers, you'd open it up and you'd have to do one of those puzzles. He'd always have one of those. His brain was always thinking like that, right? And he'd always be into things those kind of games. Steve says reading a good novel. Yes, well, Steve, I have something for you coming out on October 21st. So you just put that right in your calendar, okay? Yes, so Caroline is asking if Jason plays an instrument. Yeah, let's find that out. Some folks have fascination sparks, right? So when you're exposed to a certain topic, does it really trigger this intrinsic, oh, I want to learn this? For me, I'm really interested in learning about, things like other countries, the localness, I guess, if that's a word, of other countries, how it feels to be in another country. It intrigues me and I want to study it and I want to know more of it. Nutrition really optimizing the body and knowing how certain foods can fuel you more efficiently and effectively intrigues me. So I'm going to learn about it. What about you? Yeah, that's a shout out to Chris Bruce. That's right. Caroline, yes, keeping October 21st in your calendars. We have something big going on. Big. Are you inspired by things that want to make you do more, right? Is there a community kind of topic that makes you just say, I want to be part of that? Maybe a Boys and Girls Club, or maybe a leadership program. There was a leadership program at the YMCA where I grew up, and I sent my daughter there. Well, I'm very attracted to leadership and I want to rise young leaders. And so it interests me to be part of that. All right. Into eco-friendly environments, right? Really being able to create sustainable environments for our children and our grandbabies. And how can we do that? I'm interested in learning about solar paneling and that kind of thing. So what moves you? What moves you? That's what I'm asking you. Crafting, woodwork. I wrote some notes down here to remind me. Engage. What are the activities that you engage in that you just get lost in? Where do you get lost, right? So finding your spark. Mastery. Maybe you want to learn another language. Maybe you're really super ultra interested in other languages and you want to master that language. Or maybe you want to master something like yoga, right? Or a sport, maybe football or basketball, right? So thinking about the things that ignite you. These are the things in your contribution bucket, okay? Some services, just particular groups of people, maybe some homeless individuals, veterans maybe are inspiring particularly to you. What is it outside of work that sparks you? And that's what Jonathan Fields is really talking about here. What sparks you outside of the work piece, okay? What are the things that you want to invest your time, your money, your energy in that really, get you motivated and inspired, right? So this is part of filling your buckets so that when you are working, and when you are home, you are doing things that bring you a different kind of joy, right? Because if you're doing something 100% of the time, all the time, eventually you're going to get drained out. You got to have these other interests. And what other interests do, they actually also feed into that connection bucket. They connect you to other people. Like Christiane, she likes to run. Her running bucket, her running contribution bucket, right, is building in her connection bucket. She's able to connect with other runners potentially, right, and so forth. So thinking about, what do you value most? What's your core value system? Maybe simplicity, eco-friendly, maybe health and nutrition, maybe nature, whatever it is. What's deep down in your core value system? Maybe it's inner city. For me, I was a teen mom, okay? Maybe you didn't know that about me. I had my first daughter when I was a sophomore in college. I was 18 years old and turned 19 in the hospital, I think. Something like that. I was pretty young, okay? I was a teen mom. And so I really have a heart for young moms who are facing life alone and who want to better themselves, right? And so, and this having some networking issues, no worry, just come on in when you can. And so really thinking about, what is it that you're passionate about that's outside of work? Because there's more to you. Now, have you ever been around someone where all they do is talk about work? I've been that human where I go to someone's house and I'm like, and this happened and this happened. And you can't give details, but you start talking about the people at work and the things at work and the policies and the politics and all the things. No one wants to hear about work all the time. You're going to drain those relationships with your husband, with your wife, with your children, with your neighbors. You're going to drain that relationship if all you're doing is talking about work. When you build in these other contribution pieces, you're now able to have conversations about other things that are interesting to multiple people. You're going to build out your connection network, you're going to build out relationships, and you're going to feel more fulfilled in a holistic way. So that's what we're talking about today, filling that contribution bucket. And the first thing is to really tap into what you enjoy, what you are really good at, okay? Where do you see yourself offering some substantial value that has nothing to do with money? Maybe you love holding little babies, right? I know my older daughter, she loves just holding babies. Don't scare me. I don't want to be grandma yet. But she loves holding babies, but then she loves giving them back, which is good, right? My other little one loves puppies and really cares about puppies who are abused, right? So filling a part of your heart with a contribution, something that you can deliver to the world that has nothing to do with income generation for you, can be quite impactful. Now, income generation can help with it, right? So I own a business, and the bigger my business grows, the bigger our business grows, the more contribution we can make into this world. The more kids we can send to summer camp, the more eco-friendly work we can do, the more waitresses I can put a smile on their face when I give them a big fat tip, right? So the more we can do when we're generating income, but the contribution piece is really separate. I hopefully that helps. Getting out of your head, trust what you are without even thinking about it. Just trust what is coming to you. So Renee, Emma, Christiane, Steve, Caroline, Jason, what are the things right now that you're like, this really sparks me? This really sparks me. What are those things? Dream big. Dream the thing and dream yourself into the thing. So if you say to yourself, you know, I really want to be able to contribute. Like, for instance, for me, I love the analytical world, right? Law enforcement analytics, and I love education around law enforcement analytics. And so one of the things that I really strive to do is create enough margin in my business where I can offer some scholarships either to our programs or to some other training opportunities like IACA or MACA, for some analysts who might not be able to afford it, right? Who maybe, you know, they're starting out and it's just not within their budget, but they really, really want to go, right? And so, you know, these are the things that we can do when we have our ducks lined up, right? So Caroline says, I know a lot of NICUs pre-COVID have opportunities for people to go and hold new points. Oh, the NIC units. Got it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's great. That's good to know. What about the rest of you? What are the things that if you did this all day or you know, once a day or once a week and just pretend you did or did not get paid for it, like it didn't matter, right? What would it be that you're contributing? Renee, what is it that is calling to your heart that you want to deliver outside of your work environment? Who are you outside of work? That's what's important about this contribution bucket. And so, you know, we talk about sharing your gifts with the world in a really big way. You know, Steve says, losing track of time is a key. You're probably doing something you really enjoy when time flies. Yes, exactly. Losing track of time. Christiane says, volunteering with law enforcement. Yeah, how? How, Christiane? Like, what kind? You know, what kind of volunteer work do you like with them, to do with them? So losing track. So Steve's talking about losing track of your time. Yeah, when you're so involved with something and it feels so natural and good to you, you look up and you're like, I was totally present during this moment. And it went by. It's like falling in love, right? You know, you're on the phone and you look up and you're like, oh my God, it's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours and we're still talking. Yeah, you're so invested in being present in that moment. And that's what the contribution bucket is delivering to you and you to the world, right? So if you're saying to yourself, I'm really not sure how to punctuate my day this way. I'm not sure where to go. Let's see, Christiane says, oh, citizen patrol, which you already do. Great. Awesome. Beautiful. And so, you know, if you're saying to yourself, I don't really know how to punctuate my day in this sense, I'm going to give you some stuff that Jonathan Sparks talks about in his book, you know, that might give you some tools to really get there, okay? So Caroline says, I volunteer and raise money for a thon every year. Getting to work with kids with cancer and help their families is a great feeling. Yes, exactly. And why is that meaningful to you, right? For me, you know, I received financial assistance for a very long period, right? I mean, I was a teen mom. I was, you know, well, I shouldn't say a long period, but for a period, right? And so I'm very thankful that there was someone generous who was in a position I'm in now. They were in that back then where they said, hey, you know, we're going to provide funds so that your daughter can go to, you know, these kind of camps, right? And so somebody, you know, was kind enough to do that to me or for me and my family, and it changed our world. And I want to change the world for somebody else and give that back, right? And give that back. So what is calling to you? What is calling to you? All right. So there's this thing he talks about, you know, 2 things. The first one is practice saying no. All right, I said it. We're going to go back to the boundary thing. So, you know, when your boundaries are not clear, right, at work, and you're saying yes to everything at work, and then you come home and you're answering the phone and, you know, you're catching up on emails, or maybe on Sunday night you're reading all the reports because you don't want to be so busy on Monday. How many times have I heard that one, right? It's just easier for me to sit at home and do it. Okay. There's more to life than just work, okay? Be excellent at work and be excellent in your personal life too. And one way to think about this is to say no, to commit to other things that fill your contribution bucket, to make them so important to you that there's not going to be anything that gets between you and fulfilling that mission, right? And fulfilling that mission. Yeah, those benefactors were paying it forward. Exactly, Steve. And now I'm so thankful that we have the opportunity to do that for another family. And I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for that person who inspired me to do it. So who can you inspire today, right? So that first piece is practice saying no. When you can make clear boundaries, right? You are now able to invite these other opportunities for you to sing, for your heart to sing, right? For you to be involved in diving into things that matter to you outside of work. Caroline says, no is not a negative word. It's always an option. It is. So if you're struggling with boundaries right now, go to our guides. They used to be called units, and now Facebook has called them guides, and you can find them on the ribbon at the top. And if you click on guides, there's a whole section under the personal development guide that talks about boundaries. I think there's like 3 or 4 videos on creating quality boundaries. So if you struggle with saying no, if you want to know how to do it in a professional and polite way, then you can go back to that boundaries series there and go get it. Go to town. We also have some on our YouTube as well. Hey, Michelle, thanks so much for joining in. Appreciate you being here. So that's one way, is to really practice saying no. And then, the other thing is this thing he calls give to glow. Give to glow. So he says, has anyone ever heard of that before? Give to glow, right? Yeah, if you're having any issue, thanks Caroline, if you're having an issue finding any of the boundary series that we have over there, shoot Caroline a message and she can link you in, right? Steve says, as a child of the 80s, just saying no kind of rings a bell. Exactly, just say no. These are your brains on drugs. So, really, the give to glow is talked about in this book as give so that others will glow. Give so that others will glow. Now, you can do this at work, and you can contribute and be a great contributor at work and help people glow at work. But today we're talking about giving a part of yourself and allowing others to glow outside of work. All right, so starting with what gives you power, what gives you passion, what gives you energy, right? And then saying to yourself, how can I deliver this to someone? How can I give this to someone else to help them glow, right? Emma says, how can we raise funds to help internally displaced person in my region due to ongoing crisis? Yeah, women have given birth in the bushes, but houses burnt. Yeah, and you know what? That's a great point. So what opportunities, maybe you can start something, Emma, to really, raise funds to support some big initiatives. And I'm sure there's some folks who've thought of this already, and it might just mean you finding those people out and partnering with them, so that the people are getting the resources that they need, right? So that maybe you are sharing some of the stories, right, with some of those bigger organizations. So yeah, absolutely. If that's a passion of yours, those are 2 ways. Start it yourself or go find someone else who already did it and partner with them, all right? Great question. So back to this give 30, this give to glow. So there's this thing that he talks about, 30 acts of kindness, right? 30 acts of kindness a day in under 30 seconds. So what can you do, right? You can just kind of get a piece of paper and jot down some ideas if you wanted to. But how can you give glow, right? How can you give glow in less than 30 seconds? And the idea behind this is that it doesn't have to be this huge thing that you're doing. It can be, but it doesn't have to be, right? So what can you do in 30 seconds? So let's toss around some ideas right now of things that you can do that are simple, that are small, that can really inspire and ignite other people and let them feel really cared about. So, go ahead and throw in the chat, whether you're here live or listening to a replay. What are some simple things that you can do in less than 30 seconds? One of the things I always think about is if someone drops something in front of you, you can pick it up, right? Or maybe, you know that someone is really trying to eat more fruit at work, and maybe you bring in them, a bag of grapes, right? Let's see. Emma says, the world needs to help the people in my region. They have been ongoing crisis in the Northwest region for 4 years now. Yeah, there's so many great causes out there. Absolutely. Caroline says, pay for the person behind you in the drive-thru. That is so fun. I love doing that. So I get my little rear view mirror on there, and I look for people who have like a teenager in the front seat or something like that. Sometimes, because I know the impact it's going to have on that kid, right? So looking in the rear view and then just paying for them and making sure, like just seeing their faces when it happens and then driving off so that they don't know who it is, right? It is really fun. Yeah, Steve, a sincere compliment. That's a great way to give the glow, right? A sincere compliment. You know, something that can be so simple, so simple. Yeah, such a good one, such a good one. There are lots of things that you can do to really, you know, heighten thank yous. A simple thank you can heighten somebody, right? A sincere, simple thank you can heighten somebody. You know, my daughter came down the stairs this morning and I gave her a nice big hug, and then I held her a little bit longer and I was like, ooh, I just love hugging you. You're so snuggy in the morning, right? Something so simple. Erin, welcome, Erin. Glad to see you here. She says, send a thank you email to a coworker or friend for something they might not have known has impacted you. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. I love that. You know, thinking about, you know, maybe even a email, like Erin says, or maybe even a handwritten one where you're sending it off to somebody. I was just thinking of you. You've been impactful in my life, and thank you for being you, right? Anything like that. I like that. I like that a lot. So there's very simple things that you can do when we're in life thinking about. Yeah, thanks, Caroline. Erin, Caroline's stealing yours, if that's okay. You know, we can think about these little things that we can do. Here's a great example. So my older daughter says, I really want this book, right? And she rattled off the name of this book. And she's like, but it's out of stock and da da da. So I scribbled down the name. When she left, I looked it up on Amazon and there was one left. And so I pressed go, send, and it's like, it's not gonna come for a month and a half. It didn't matter, right? So when it finally came, I put the little book with a little card on it, you know, that said, it happened to be when she got a new job. So I said, congratulations on your new job. Here's your new way of thinking. Because the book was all about like how monks think, right? And so what a simple thing to do. What a simple thing to do. Press the button for her. And I think it was like $7. So it wasn't huge on my end. It wasn't a huge forklift on my end. So Michelle says, taking a minute and asking someone how they're doing. Yes, instead of talking about things that don't matter, see how people are actually doing. And you know, what's interesting is Michelle has a beautiful way of doing this. Like Michelle started off in dispatch, right? Or maybe that's not where she started, but she was in dispatch for quite some time. You know, and so she knows everyone at her police agency, right? And people would say, hi, how are you? How many times have you done this? Hi, how are you? And then you kind of just walk away, right? You're not even really listening to what the answer is. So, you know, Michelle does a great job of this, and she's like, no, like, I actually want to know how you're doing. How's your mom? How's your dog? How's your kid? How's your this? How's your that? What did you do for dinner last night? What was exciting about your world on Friday? What was fun for you this weekend? You know, really asking quality questions. That is a give to glow for sure, right? Really elevating people and ensuring that they feel really cared about. Andrew Butts, he's also one of our RG leadership members. He wrote a blog for us on how to build relationships with your coworkers. If you're not sure how to navigate that, you know, it's in our blog. Maybe Caroline or Michelle or someone else here can go ahead and plug that into the chat, and you all can take a look at specific things that Andrew has encouraged you folks to do if they're building relationships, right? Yeah, the book for her was great. Okay. So this idea of, you know, give to glow, give 30, you can pick, you know, one a day if you want. I mean, 30 seconds is really easy, and you can see how, I want you to see how it just fills your heart. It fills your heart. And when you do something like this, all of a sudden you start wanting to do it more. It makes them glow. It makes you glow. And then it shows you, it reminds you of all the things that you are in your world that have nothing to do with work. And so again, you all know that I love working hard. People in our RG program, we have a couple of Renee's folks in our program right now. You know, people in our RG program, and we have Taunton in there, we have Mansfield in there, we have a bunch of different people who are in our programs right now who are learning skills, right? They're learning the skills, they're learning how intel analysis, they're learning fundamentals of crime analysis, they're learning automation, Excel, Access, all the things. So, you know, do that, work hard. They're learning mindset, critical thinking, threshold analysis. They're learning all that stuff, right? But today's shift is kind of geared toward what we do on Wellness Wednesdays, where we really talk about, you know, this mindset piece in our own world, in our own lives. And today it that contribution bucket. How are we filling our own contribution bucket so that we can give to glow, we can rise others, so that we can discover ourselves outside of our careers, and quite honestly, live a much more happy and fulfilled life. So when you're ready to retire, you're not totally starting from scratch, right? You are knowing a little bit about what you love outside of your career. Oh, thank you, Caroline, for that blog. I appreciate that. And if you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to retire within the next 2 years, I have no idea. I was talking to someone the other day. She has 4 years left. And she says, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? 4 years is going to be fast, right? And so now's the time. It's never too late. I don't care if it's 4 days. It's never too late. Discover who you are, because when you are on your deathbed, you are not going to be saying, I wish I would have worked more. You're going to be saying things like, from that book, 5 Regrets of Dying, right? You're going to be saying things like, I wish I loved my life more. I wish I had more fun. I wish I spent more time with family, right? And that kind of thing. So I don't want anyone here wishing that they had a more fulfilled life. I want everyone here going and getting that more fulfilled life right now, right now. So Steve says, but I have a few coworkers in the past that I had better bring my shaving kit if I asked them that question. That's hilarious. Yeah. So that's it for today. Today is all about filling your contribution bucket. So if you have one action step that you can walk away with, do the give to 30, right? Find 30 things that you can do today. Count them. Find 5 things that you can do today, right? That take you 30 seconds or less, and just go out and do them. Fill your bucket. And if you're struggling with knowing who you are outside of work, like I was about 8 to 10 years ago, I had no idea who I was. No idea who I was outside of motherhood and work. There was a woman down in Florida at the Florida Analyst Conference, that we had this discussion. I said, what do you do for fun? Well, my kids. No, they don't count. What do you do for fun? Well, work. No, work doesn't count. What do you do for you? What's in your contribution bucket? What's in your vitality bucket? So, and she really had a hard time saying what was in there, which is okay. That's exactly where I was, but I've spent the last 8 to 10 years getting out of that. And I don't want you to wait 8 to 10 years. I want you to be able to get that right away, right? And so if you do need some help working with that, we do have, for those of you who have not seen, we actually have a separate coaching platform. Aside from our analytical programs, we have a separate coaching program that's wellness, right? It's wellness coaching, and it's 6 months of wellness coaching one-on-one, and that's it. And we work that with you, whatever wellness means for you, nutrition, physical, emotional, spiritual wellness, whatever it means for you. We can get you there. We've gotten lots of folks there, and we can get you there too. All right. So that's it for today. We're going to see you all in August. I can't believe it. The next time we see you will be August. Although next week we will not see you. There will be no live, but I have some free gifts for you for next week, to keep you busy and energized and motivated and continuing to find your you, to find your real you. The real you is beyond work, right? You're going to be excellent at work. I know you are, because you're hanging out with us here, and you might be in one of our programs. You're going to be great there. I want you to also be great with looking in the mirror and being so happy with the human and the life that you have created by design. It is your life. It is up to you. You are the CEO of your life. So go get it. Go get the life you want by design. We'll see you all in a couple weeks. Bye now.